A friend of mine, a Facebook friend, was remarking about how the belief in non-duality is false light and Luciferian, or of the devil, a deception. And I tried to explain that it's only a false light perception when we identify with our physical body and natural mind. Anything that, let me back up a little bit. When we still find our identity in our ego mind, in the persona that life has built, or that we have built around life, then everything outside of us is a threat to our persona, to that ego persona. That is third dimensional awareness. And yes, when we are in the body and in the mind, we very much see and recognize the reality of good and evil. That is the reality in three-dimensional earth. And yes, if you are in that awareness, in that 3D earth awareness, you will see the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and you're going to eat of it. I explained it to the friend that even though Jesus was experiencing the physical adversity of being nailed to the cross, surely all of us say that was extremely evil, right? But Jesus transcended his body and his ego mind to where he saw no enemies on the cross. To him, there were no enemies. Good and evil didn't exist anymore because he no longer identified with the body. He identified as I am, as the eternal God consciousness. That's why he could say, no man can take my body. I lay it down of my own volition. And a person that no longer identifies with the body and with the ego mind is not threatened by even physical violence, because the body identification is no longer there or that strong. We too can, through conscious awareness, give up our body. No one can take it from us because we have already given it up in our detachment. And so yes, something is happening to the body, but it's not happening to me. And our mind is very crafty. You know, it creates the definition for what divinity is. It's got a certain concept or idea of what divinity looks like, right? Something supernatural. But based on that, based on the Bible story, our mind thinks that Jesus was divine because he rose physically from the dead. Well, nobody can really prove that. And however he appeared afterwards in his etheric glorified body, well, all of us will and can do that when we are physically put to death. But because the mind has created this exclusive definition of what divinity is, we don't believe ourselves to be deity or divine, and therefore we can never get beyond identifying with ego, mind, or physical body, because divinity is out of reach. We have to be somehow supernatural. But you are supernatural if you can transcend your third dimensional ego, mind, and physical body and become conscious of your spirit. Then you can consciously leave your body, and from that higher God perspective, you no longer see good and evil, you no longer see enemies. It's a consciousness thing, and that cannot be explained, and it cannot be debated or argued. But yeah, you have to get disidentified with your ego and with your physical body, and only then will you lose the fear, because wherever we feel fear, we feel threatened, and then an enemy presents itself in our reality, because we are in the lower awareness of the ego that is defensive and afraid of everything, of every danger that might present itself. Transcendence gets us into another dimension where duality becomes oneness, and where there is no more enemy that can take your life, because you realize you are the divine spirit and nobody can kill the divine spirit. You can lay it down and you take it up again in your next incarnation or in your spirit body. Concerning the craftiness of our mind that has framed a definition for divinity, for God, to be physical, supernatural science and wonders. Jesus had something to say about that ego. He says, an evil and adulterous generation seeks for signs, for physical outward signs. This isn't about any supernatural physical science. This is about consciousness, transcending the ego consciousness or non-awareness. So if you're still looking for physical, supernatural magic tricks to prove someone's divinity, you have been led down the garden path, the rabbit trail. So don't get duped by the mind and its concept.